but I'd start with that machine because we still use it every year during the harvest. So visitors can come here and can see that press working. So it's not a very old one from the 60s. And we absolutely don't need it anymore today, but we still use it for fun to show to people how it was working before. So we'll go just over there to see the others. Just go there. And so we have the original press of the house from 1929. So originally, 20 growers of the village want to buy this press, but they didn't have enough money for that. And so the priest of the village, Don Caudron, and that's why we're named like that, of course, gave them 1,000 francs. And that was a lot of money in 1929, enough to buy this press, few tools, and start champagne making in the village of Passy-Grigny. So they started as a co-op in 1929 because the 23 growers invest all together to buy this press to produce their champagnes all together. And we're still a co-op today, working with 86 growers, working on 130 hectares of vine. So we can produce around 700,000 bottles a year with that co-op, which is, I'd like to precise, quite a small production, still a small production. And after, and I'm sorry about the lights of this one, it's normally not like that, you can imagine. This is the oldest press we have, it's from 1620. And it's an amazing one.
1620, wow.
1620.
Yeah, amazing.
And made with oak, as all the others. That's important to precise, it's made with oak.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Then the other one, the Solex, which is important. We can do tours with the Solex on the vineyard. So we have 6 of them, and so we can propose to visitors to do tours with the Solex. So that's really nice to do. And this one is from the 18th century. This press is very important because we think that shape, this type of press, is the first one they've invented in the world, so maybe during the Roman Empire, so 100 years before Christ. So it's maybe the first shape they've invented to press fruits. This one is from the 18th century, and we found it in Normandy. They were using this press for apples pressing. Then they invented some tools as the round part to add the grapes on it. So they were using the same machine for any fruits they need to press during the seasons, of course. And this one is made with oak, chestnut, and walnuts. So 3 strong wood to resist to the centuries, we can say it. We are showing a 20-minute movie talking about the work on the vines, and we did that movie in 2 years. So like that you will discover the 4 seasons of Champagne and the work on the vines. So all the actors of the movie are the growers, members of the co-op, or my colleagues, employees of the co-op. That's a local movie, very important to discover the work on the vines. With the modern press, so the big yellow box, the automatic loader at the back of the building, and you also maybe can see an old car at the back over there,
yeah,
which is a Ford T from 1922, and we offer the possibility to people to do tours on board of this car during the harvest.
A Model T Ford?
Yes.
Really?
And this is a unique model in France. Under the press we have another winery, so we are receiving the grape juice freshly pressed. Then we transfer the grape juice in the winery we're going to see right now. And so the winery, so there is 1 million bottles in the stock in the wood cases just right there. There is also the 100 oak barrels we are using for our production to give very special taste to our champagne, unique taste to it. And there is also some stainless steel tanks. So the biggest tanks we have in the house are the one at the back of the building, and it's 64,000 liters. One of the most important parts of the tour to discover champagne making, because we really can explain everything about champagne making and people can see what happened for real and how we do that. To explain to people how we produce champagne, just for the last step of champagne making, which is the disgorgement. We'll have a look on it and we'll understand everything about it. So all the sediments we have on the bottles that we need to turn to make the sediments going down before removing it from it, of course. So again, just that tools is very interesting for people to understand how we are producing the champagne. And then we end the tour with the tasting, of course, which is maybe the most important when people are coming to visit us. Bonjour. Bonjour.
So you are open to the public every day of the week?
Every day, 7 days on 7. We can say 24 hours on 24 if you want it. And yes, that's very important for us to receive the people in here. We are in a very small village and we want to show to people that that we can produce champagne in very high quality champagne in small places as this one. So we are receiving more than 6,000 people a year right now.
6,000 people from around the world?
Around the world, most of them are from the US, Australia as well, and after European people, out of Belgium, out of it.
Bonjour, monsieur.
So, Nicolas, in charge of winemaking of the house.
Okay.
Enchanté.
Okay.
Which is our classical champagne made with 100% Meunier grapes, so which is a bit special in champagne. We definitely want to be the specialist of the Meunier grape varieties in champagne. So the Meunier gives fruitiness, lightness to champagne. This one will be very light, very fruity, easy to drink. I'd like to call it the anytime champagne because you don't need any reason to open a bottle of it. It's not a strong taste, so you can pair it with anything to it. So now we'll taste the Épicurienne, which is another 100% Meunier champagne. But this time we produce it with old vines. So the vines are minimum 50 years old, and that will totally change the taste of the champagne at the end. We also did 3 years aging, increasing the old vine's aromas. So this one will be fruity, light, because it's made with 100% Meunier grapes, but it's also a bit more complex, tastier than the first one. So we'll taste the Fascinante now. Six turn on the wire.
Yeah.
So a nice deep rosé color for this champagne made with 80% of Meunier we vinified into white wine, 10% of Meunier we vinified into red wine, and 10% of Chardonnay we aged in the barrels for 4 months. So the 10% of red wine made with the Meunier will give the color, of course, but also the red fruit aromas we'll have on the taste of this champagne. Still fresh and fruity, the Meunier continue to give that freshness and that fruitiness, of course. So now we'll taste our baby, our signature champagne, La Cornaline, so also made with 100% of Meunier grapes. But this time, 50% of the Meunier come from the stainless steel tanks, while we kept the 50% of the blending into the French oak barrels for 9 months. We did a vinification in the oak barrels. It means that we add the grape juice just after pressing it, and we did the alcoholic and malolactic fermentation straight into the oak. So that will develop a lot of strength, a lot of complexity to the champagne, unique taste, and we did 5 years aging to finish it. So this one will be perfect to pair with anything strong. Red meat on the barbecue, you can have it with a rabbit, with a mustard sauce. You can have it also with a risotto, with truffle. That would be very good. The champagne is very strong as a red wine. So let's pair it with something you will normally pair with red wine. That will be good. And let's taste the last one. So the Sublimité 50-50 from 2008. So this is our vintage champagne and called 50-50 because of the blending. This time we have 50% of Meunier we kept in the stainless steel tanks and 50% of Chardonnay we aged in the French oak barrels for 6 months. So the aging in the oak barrels will develop honey aromas, dry fruits aromas on the champagne, something really much more complex than the others. And the Meunier will keep the freshness, the fresh fruits, to keep the acidity and the well balanced on this champagne. And so we did 9 years aging in the cellar for this champagne. So they are all brut champagne. We produce it with 9 grams of residual sugar. So for this one, mostly gastronomic food this time because of the complex aromas. We should have something like scallops with a creamy sauce, or you also can have, lobster will be very good as well with a sauce bisque, could be great, and also light poultry. So not with a creamy sauce this time, mostly with a light sauce, maybe a veal sauce could be very good with that. Mushrooms again with morels or a truffle could be very nice. This afternoon we'll have people from Belgium, from Netherlands, from USA again. And French people, a few French people, which is uncommon. And that's it, yes, for today. And so we are receiving more and more people, mostly foreign people, because of the educational way of the tour and the tastings, of course. And so some of them will enjoy a good lunch, a 3-course lunch, paired with 3 different champagnes, of course. So that's quite interesting for them to come to visit us for that, and they are enjoying the food and the champagne pairing, of course. Then I've totally forgot what I wanted to say.